So we are here. We are about to take you to the beating heart of Notting Hill Carnival with one of the best, the brightest, the most revered of sound systems in the UK, perhaps ever. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Channel 1 Sound System. Mikey Dread, Ross Kayleb, thank you for joining us on Lockdown Your Area. Strange year.
Yeah.
Notting Hill Carnival's not happening in person this year. No. What are you going to be doing this weekend?
We'll be down at the substitute for that is we'll be down at the Jam, and then doing like a lockdown session for X amount of people, and then so we just have to take that on board, and you just have to do what you can at the time.
How are you feeling about missing Notting Hill Carnival? Because when did you guys start? When was the first sound that you set up at Notting Hill Carnival?
We set up around '83, and but yeah, so that was then, so many years ago, and this is but where we are now is not where we started. We basically started over the other side near Portobello Market, and that's where we basically started doing business. Them days is like, as I said, in sound system, like a free-for-all. If you turn up with your sound, you get power from somewhere, and that is it. You start playing. Yeah, so you might find 2 or 3 sound systems on the same corner, and so that's when we basically started.
Does the corner that you would normally be on feel like home now?
Well, it's like home because that's where everybody every year know they could find us. Leamington Park Villas or
Leamington Road Villas.
Leamington Road Villas. Yeah, that's where they know they find us for the last how many years now? 20 odd years now.
25,
yeah,
26
so
years. Yeah.
That is like the home of Channel 1 at Carnival.
But this is an important thing. So for myself, someone who hasn't missed Carnival for 20 years, like it is, it's a spiritual place, Channel 1. People go to Carnival specifically and may simply only hang out at Channel 1 Sound System. And there's something very much, very important about the feeling and the energy that you bring to that corner. The bass vibrations at Channel 1 are unique to your sound. Your sound doesn't sound like any other sound in the whole of Notting Hill Carnival. Also, the intensity of the bodies dancing there. It's a very, it's an otherworldly experience. What does it feel like being on the other side, creating that for the people?
Well, it's the way things work out is something what we like to transfer, submit to people, because it's like a teaching. And so don't look. A lot of people is growing up from where we are, and because we've been around in that corner for so long, now the kids of the time are bringing their kids now, and so which is a good thing. So they've grown up with us, and when you relay this to the people, they said yes, that is their spiritual home, and for the 2 days.
Incredible thing about Carnival is that whenever it happens, the 2 days or the 3 days of the weekend, it feels like it was just yesterday that
That's
the
it.
previous
That's
year
it.
happened. It feels like a continuous journey that's only broken up by these incidental days in the year which aren't as much fun as being
Yeah.
there yourself. So for the rest of the year, what do Channel 1 do for people who don't know?
Travel the world.
We travel the world, and we have another home. We don't know if we're gonna have it again, but we have a place we call the village underground. We have a place we call the Jam, and these are the things what we do throughout the rest of the year. But as I said, as Kayleb said, we travel the world to different countries, and work. And within that time, you'll always find sound systems popping up from wherever, and they said to
You want to invite
birth our sound system, so to speak. We want Channel 1 to come and play on it. So throughout the year, you're always saying around half a dozen new sound systems coming out, and what happens is they're the ones what was at the Carnival the year before or that year, and then whatever, and then when they get the inspiration of this is what we want to do. Sometimes they will ask us questions and whatever, what do you think and whatever. So go back and do your homework and do your studying about sound system and start building. That's easy.
So you talk about building and inspiring other generations. How were you inspired to build Channel 1? Where did that journey begin?
Well, that journey began from childhood, because we always used to be, in sound system, and the old man used to have a sound system. So we've always grown up in sound system as a family, and because we all come from around the same area, and we know family, we know Kayleb from young, his cousin from young, and so we've all known one another since childhood, and so when Pops is playing his sound, as a youth, we used to see the boxes going out through the door and coming back in again in the night. And whether he's playing at a wedding, a party, or something like that. But at the same time, we used to have our own blues party in the house. So that's how we grew up with. So it's always been in the blood.
And when did you start actually physically building those boxes?
I started physically building boxes when I was around 14, 15. And that was downstairs when we used to have a house, we used to have a basement. And that's where I used to be on a Saturday afternoon when Mum can't find me. Nobody can find me, that's where I am. Downstairs in the basement building boxes. And there you see.
And what kind of skills do you need? So I guess what a lot of people don't appreciate is the manual labour, the craftsmanship that goes into building these beauties. Like where do you begin?
Well, personally, you begin. Sometimes certain things just come to you. Some people can build like a carpenter. Some people's got the knowledge of being an electrician. Some people's got the knowledge of being like joinery and things like that, or a mechanic or whatever. You from young you know what kind of thing you want to be into. And me at the time was building boxes.
But this is the wonderful thing, that it has that community kind of input. So many skills, all for this single vision of the importance of bass, in large part. Those brown boxes at Channel 1 are iconic. They are probably the most identifiable sound system in the whole of Nottingham Carnival, and I'd argue in the world as well. What is it? Talk us through how you go about setting up the sound system. So let's talk us through your weekend. When do you arrive at Nottingham Carnival? How long does it take to set up the boxes? What happens?
Well, usually you have to get in there by a certain time, because you got a cut-off time was usually like 9 o'clock, where they say anyone who comes after 9, you're not going to be allowed in. So, usually we meet up about 7 in the morning. The crew get together, either meet at Mikey's yard or we meet at Mikey's brother's yard. Then we all travel down together, try and get the truck in, get the van in, get everything in before the time. Breeze off for about an hour, have a cup of tea or a coffee, relax a little bit,
Enjoy the moment.
Yeah, then slowly open the back of the truck and start to bring things out. Yeah. You know, because, you know, the thing is, you don't really turn on till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you're there at 8, what's the point killing yourself, pulling everything out and it's just sitting there? Could be hot already, the sun could be out, it could be raining. And the time we're sitting down relaxing, it could be just an early morning shower, that would pass, it would dry, you know, everything in time, you know, sometimes they say don't rush a good thing. Yeah, so, and the thing is, while you're there as well, you got people turning up. So you'd always have plenty manpower, you know what I mean, right? You got people turning up from abroad, France, Germany, America. Oh, Channel 1, we're here, do you need us? Do you need some manpower? Yeah, and we say, yeah. So, you know, as the day go on, you know, like, as you say, it's a family thing because, as you said, throughout the year we travel around, meet other people. You know, during the session we invite them to Carnival, said, look, if you could make it, come over. And some people, as you say, they just make, their prime object is to find Channel 1 and sit down there all day, right? And you know, when you say for the whole experience, they would want to come, help you build up the set, help you do everything. They want the whole thing for the day. They're taking pictures, they're filming it, because it's like a dream come true for a lot of people, you know, just to be there for that day.
Carnival's changed a lot. I mean, even in the last 10 years, it's changed massively. Partly due to licensing, partly due to policing, partly due to the types of crowds that come. From your sides of the fence, Kayleb and Mikey, what has particularly changed about Carnival for you?
Right now, you can see the corporate hand within it now, right? And it's like that freedom what you had before is not really there anymore. You know what used to make Carnival was seeing a lot of the hustlers and, you know, as Mikey said, different sounds coming up and trying to find a corner. And even the little trouble what used to happen there as well, it all added to the feel of Carnival, you know what I mean? Because there's a sense of freedom, you know, but now where everything is cattled into a circle, this way is restricted, that is restricted. Even now they're coming along with the volume meter, or you can't have the sound this loud anymore, when before you could turn it up as loud as you want. You know, there's so much restrictions now, but, you know, in a sense, you try and still bring that same spirit, even though things have changed. And you could say the pattern, the time, because before you could go on all night if you wanted to, right? Now you have to start this time, finish this time, but in the time they give you, you still try and radiate that same feeling, you know? Maybe around, we always say Channel 1 corner, right, is Freedom Corner. We don't know about around Channel 1's corner, but we know Channel 1's corner is Freedom Corner, but we try and keep it that way. But as I said, too much corporate hands in it now, you know, and from corporate hands go into things, you know, there's always big changes, you know.
I think is where we get the corner, the freedom corner. And where we get that from is that a lot of people said they've walked around to different sound systems, whether it's reggae, hip hop, bash metal. What they said, they feel tension in these other sound systems, tension within the crowd. And for some reason, when them say them come to Channel 1, there's no tension. Everybody just free up and everybody's smoking and eating and joking and whatever music is playing and whatever. They said they don't feel that tension within our corner.
Absolutely. I mean, I 100% back that. As someone who tries in vain to try and get to as many sound systems as I can over the course of the weekend, there is a very different presence. Not only a presence, but the fact that you are present. That everything else in terms of time, you know, Carnival can be very rushed as a punter. You're chasing friends, you're waiting for friends, you're trying to get here, you're
That's
trying to
right.
go to the toilet, queue up
That's
for
right.
food, whatever it is. When you realise that, you know, Carnival now is more or less like 1 till 7ish.
That's right.
Like that's a very little amount of time in which to get a year's worth of energy through.
That's right, exactly.
And so actually, at Channel 1, having that presence is a very grounding force. It's not only that energy that comes from the bass spins, but it's also the presence of the people so tightly packed. And it's not because they're tightly packed because you're dropping the latest jam, actually far from it. You're bringing proper roots and culture to the heart of Carnival. And it feels very much that when you are there and when you are present, that you are representing the soul of Carnival. And there's only, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 sounds that are really doing that at Carnival. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and I guess ask you what you see as a good day at Carnival. How do you know that it's been a success?
Well, I think a good day is one for one when the sun shines all day.
That's right.
that's for one.
Yeah.
You know, so that is a start. And when you're fun and another day, everything is different to people. But it's a good day is when you see people but you haven't seen for a long time. And then you see, and then they come up to you and say, Mikey, you know, Kayleb, you know, here. And sometimes at the end of the day, in the evening when we're packing up the sound system or whatever, Kayleb would say, you know, my guy was here from Argentina. I said, no, I didn't see him. You know, my guy was here from Peru. I didn't see him. You know, my guy was here from wherever. I didn't see, you know, so all these people will come, but because you're obviously working, you don't know who's there. And people will just email you, you know, a few weeks down the line and says, very good session, Mikey. Very good session, Channel 1. I say, you was there? I say, yeah. I say, yes, we was there. We went back, you know, Tuesday night or whatever. So, you know, that's a good day when you're finding people who come in and enjoy it, who haven't been there for a few years or whatever. So that's part of it.
That's a good day.
Yeah, and another good day is when you don't see too much of the police. Yeah, because once upon a time, you see them every second. They'll come over and make their presence known. They bother Mikey. They bother Mikey's brother. You know, now, you know, in the last 2 years, I would say they've kept a certain person away. You only just see them at the end. And sometimes they wouldn't even come over anymore. They just do a signal.
That's right.
And then Mikey would just bring the night to it. Yeah.
I think it's something where they see the sound system itself. One is a Rasta sound system. 2 is they say an elder sound system. And so it's not some youth sound system who's they said, okay, you know, you got 10 minutes.
And they're still full of adrenaline and they still want to go on.
They still want to go on because it's like their last session. No, after a while, you know, from 1 o'clock to 7, you know, we've done our work. And you know, what happens is you keep on give them too much more. You know, it spoils the day. And you know, so if they said to listen, you got another 10 minutes, yeah, we say okay, fair enough. That is our 10 minutes, and we can call it that.
What is your favourite memory of Notting Hill Carnival?
I think my favourite memory, to be honest with you, is not when where we are now. Where we are now is not even there. Is where we was before, around Portobello Market, and thing. We're along the Portobello Market from, you know, Subterranean to Labbot Grove, High Road. Just before there, where the houses are on the right, there used to be a big shed, giant big shed. And one day we came to play on the street around the corner, around from Subterranean, and the guy who was working around there, he says to me and my brother, I said, come here, I want to show you something. I said, what? So we just walked into this big, huge shed. He said, do you want to play in here? Me and my brother looked on there. He says, it's off the street. Everybody can come in. The place was that big, we can drive the 7.5 ton in there and park it up on the corner until while we had the sound system. So everything was impact, as they say. And but yeah, that was the only year we went to 9:45. We finished at 9:45.
You're only in that spot for 1 year?
1 year, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because after that they build started knocking it down, and obviously start building houses on it and whatever. So yeah, the guy said, if you want to take advantage of this, do it now.
Amazing.
And that was it.
What year was that?
Well, don't even ask me.
Some year.
Some year, man. I can't remember. So that was a good year for me.
Kayleb, what's your pervading favourite memory?
Well, you know, I wouldn't even say it's a favourite memory, but it's a lingering memory. It's like a few years ago when the police raided us one morning. You know, it's like an army of police. You heard them coming down the road. Boom, 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 boom. And it's like they just held up everybody, even the cat who was walking down the road, they held him up. They held up an old lady who just went to get, they stopped everybody. Searching, where is it? And we're all standing there, where's what? And they go, we want the stuff. We're thinking, what stuff? Right? And they wanted to search the speakers. How do we get in the speakers? Well, if you could get in there, I can't get in there. If you could get, you know, they think we was hiding weed and drugs and everything. They're searching the truck, they're searching Mikey's business, searching everybody. And guess what? They didn't find nothing. Nothing at all. We got a tip off, right? Because it was like the Sunday. All right, there was people, they literally parading the thing up and down the road. They thought they were in Jamaica, you know what I mean? But they thought it was to do with us, but it was nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? It was just, people just turn up selling their goods. But they thought, because they was on Channel 1 corner and they had the helicopter filming them, they thought it was us. So the next day, they come and raided us. They searched. Until at the end of the day, they just had to apologize. You know, and you know, the thing is, why I say it's a kind of lingering memory, is from that day, the respect, you know, from the authorities to the sound, I notice it. Because from then on, you don't see them really coming around us that much. It's like they know Channel 1 corner, there's never no trouble, right? And if there is trouble, we just quell it straight away. You know what I mean? Women could come there, they don't get sexually assaulted, and you know what I mean? Everything is blessed. So from that day, I noticed that the authorities have respected, you know, our corner very well. You know what I mean? And that's why it's a lingering. It's not a good memory, but it's a lingering memory. Yeah.
And what would you say is your go-to Carnival tune on Channel 1? What's the tune that has to get dropped?
Well, there's so much tunes over the years that were highlighted. But yeah, I think the tune what stands out in everybody's head was Natty Dreadlocks, and then Colour Red. So that is the tune what we championed, and you know we was playing it up for what, a good 7-8 years, and then before it actually got released onto an album. And so that was a tune what I think who knows Channel 1's Ghana would stand out, you know, Natty Dreadlocks.
Some foundation sound right there. Now just to fast forward a little bit and to put it into context as well, what has been particularly unusual and amazing about Channel 1's journey is that you've not just occupied sound system culture in its kind of dub reggae form, you've gone beyond that. Red Bull Culture Clash, as an example, was a huge event where you won the first Culture Clash was at the Roundhouse, right? I remember it was in a semicircle, this one.
That's right.
You had Scream and Benga, you had Soul Jazz, I think was that one. Goldie, Shy Effects. It was a madness, and it was actually the start of the Culture Clashes. How important do you think that was for elevating sound system culture to a wider audience?
Well, on the level, I'd say, one, I wouldn't even say sound system culture first. I would say roots and dub music. Because, you know, in a sense, you know, at the time there was a kind of a change was going on within, you could say, bass culture.
Sure.
Right, because at the time, dubstep was big. Right, and in reality, I feel the promoters and the organizers wanted Scream and Benga to win. We're more pushing for that, and you know,
100%, yeah.
In a sense, that was the music of the time, right? But then you come in with the blueprint to this music, right? And to me, it was like, I think they were setting a thing to see if this new form of dub could take on the old form of dub. But what happened? The old form took over the new form.
It was a shock.
Yeah.
People were shocked.
And it was literally, that's what it was, you know what I mean? And you know, one thing I think it did was kind of put roots and culture and dub music on a higher platform, you know, and you just kind of notice that after then, we get invited to a lot of raves, electronica, we even get invited to mod sessions, you know, like with, what's his name, Buster Blood Vessel and them, man, you know what I mean, right? We get rock festivals, you name it. And the thing what people don't realize, that reggae music is not just an ordinary music. It's not just a music, I'll just listen to it and yeah, and that's it. There's a power within it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like when we deal with like roots music, what was it? When you say roots, you think about something deep, yeah? So we're dealing with a kind of earth form music. From you dealing with an earth form music, you're dealing with yourself. You're dealing with your body, you're dealing with your mind. So you could come into a session on a different level, and by the time it's finished, you come out on another level. And that's what we like. That's what we do. You know, we see people, you go into a rave and everything's boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden it's boom. You know what I mean? Everyone's on a different level now. You're on a different spirit, you're on a different med, and it's like, rah. I've seen some people who's sparked out on drugs, and you could see they're fighting themselves to get back, come off of this madness they're on, because it's like they want to feel the vibes, you know what I mean? Right, you can see it, there's like other people go, oh, I've just popped some MDMA and I wish I didn't, because, you know what I mean? Because you could see they want to get into the rhythm of what they're hearing, you know, but as I said, you're dealing with earth music. And from you deal with earth music is for everybody. Don't care who you is, it's for everybody. Everyone's got a heartbeat. And within the roots music is a heartbeat. Because remember, roots music don't speak to your mind, it speaks to your body, and your body speaks to your mind. Where other music speaks to your mind, then your body. So there's a reverse effect.
One final question, which is, what does Carnival mean to you in one image? What image do you see when you think of Notting Hill Carnival? Mikey?
Well, I can't speak for the whole of Carnival, because as I said I'm not around the whole Carnival, but in our corner, I can see unity. And that's what I see, unity between the sound system and between the people who's listening to the sound system, because as I said, it's a family.
Yeah, well, you see, Mike could say unity, and I could use the word solidarity, because, you know, just take it back to the history of Carnival, and why Carnival started is because of the big riots that was going on in the 50s, you know, the racial riots. And, you know, Carnival was a thing that was put on with as a celebration of bringing the two, at the time when the Caribbean people were coming to England, and yeah, there was meeting a lot of racial tension, was to bring the English community with the black community and says, look, we could both enjoy ourselves together, you know what I mean, in a unity. So, you know, as Mikey said, unity, solidarity still mean the same word, yeah.
Well, which is, so, yeah. Mikey?
Yeah, no, the one thing, basically just going back to the, you said the cultural clash thing. The good thing about that year when we actually win it is that we were the last one being invited to. It's just like they had their other genres of music,
sure.
But who can we put in? And for some reason we get Channel 1. We throw Channel 1 in. We just throw Channel 1. We throw reggae music in, not expecting that we was gonna come out on top. The other songs, what did it? Basically beat up themselves. And they say and that's the thing about we as Rastaman, we didn't argue. We didn't need to argue. We let them argue. And they say, let them do their things.
Let them fight themselves.
I remember that. Yeah, because there was a lot of, they were bringing out a lot of war dubs for each other.
That's
like
right.
Amazing dubs, but it was very testy. But
yeah.
Everyone knew not to challenge Channel 1 because it's not that energy.
No.
And what was amazing is that your Goldies, your Shy FXs, your Screaming Bangers, everyone who was in that building, including myself, knew that respect was due and that you couldn't clash in that way.
That's
and I
right.
think, going back to what you're saying, Kayleb, I think unity and solidarity is a core to everything that you do. And I want to thank you
Give
for
thanks.
bringing that
Yeah,
to
man.
Notting Hill Carnival.
Yeah.
And whilst we may not all be together watching this at home, Notting Hill
Yeah.
Carnival 2020, it's different this year.
Give thanks.
But if ever unity and solidarity is needed through the medium of dub, reggae, sound system culture, it is now. So thank you,
It's a
Mikey.
pleasure.
Thank
It's
you,
a
Caleb.
pleasure. It's a
Thanks very
pleasure.
much, brother.
Yeah.
No problem.
Happy
Okay.
Carnival
Yeah,
weekend.
man, and you have a good weekend as well, yeah? And everybody who's in tune and everybody who's watching, yeah, you have a good carnival and good weekend and stay blessed, Rastafari.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 1 Sound System.
Give thanks. Aye.
All right.
Say Channel 1 Soundsystem.
Yeah.
you know what's good.
Yeah.